No, this is the NFL, pros versus pros. It's not a mismatch in college. Man, you can't get waxed like we got waxed. No, it's embarrassing. And the thing is, it's not like, oh, well, we never been able to keep pace with the Seahawks. No, I said this for the game, a small sample size considering how many times you play an opponent. But we had played them 16 times, and you know, the Seahawks, Saints lifespan, franchise lifespan, and we were 10-6, but now we're 10-7. We had won the last 4 games against Seattle. But did we ever even have a chance to win this game? I'm like, it's not even, the first quarter's not even close to being over, and we're losing 21-0. So, obviously we didn't make it 5 in a row. We now lost, so we can't keep that strike streak alive. And, since 2007, I know this is Sean Payton and Drew Brees, now post them, though, or I should say since 2007, we had won 6 of the last 7 regular season games, but now 6 of 8. But no, this is embarrassing. I mean, you can't sugarcoat this. I mean, Deuce McAllister had made a statement. I think it was sometime during the game. And Deuce said a couple of times, or a few times, it seems like we want to fight after the play and not during the play. No, the play's over. You can't get a stupid-ass personal foul penalty. No, it's over.
That's when the downhill started with that penalty from Brazil.
Yeah, I'm like, you got to have some kind of discipline, Kellen Moore. I don't know if you got to chew them out, fine them, whatever. You got to get their attention. But no, we worried about fighting after the play instead of fighting between the whistles, so to speak. Now, if you look at it, I guess when it rains, it pours. You heard me say that before. You got to go back to 1973. I mean, I was in 8th grade. The last time the Saints had allowed this many points in a half, 38 points. You got to go back to 1973 against the Dirty Birds, against the Falcons. But I think it started like, how Rattler to Olave +9. Kamara +7. Kamara, +7. Some nice runs. Then it was like 3rd and 2. Okay, that's favorable down and distance. I don't know, Rattler maybe threw it too hard, a hot pass. Juwan Johnson to get his head around to incomplete. So Kellen's going to be aggressive. I'm going for it. 4th and 2. Hey, we got to set the tone. We're trying to win a game. And then Rattler, I thought, everybody says, oh, Hebert, you always take up for the quarterbacks. No, I'm telling you, when you release the ball and you're anticipating, and I love Alvin Kamara. I'm always saying, Rattler threw like corner route to Kamara. Why did Kamara stop running? He stopped running, keep running, and then he stopped and tried to go up and catch the ball. If he'd have kept running, I think Spencer Rattler would have dropped it in there, but no. So we don't convert on 4th down. So, they got the ball. Can you blow up defense? What are you going to do? Okay, first of all, in this drive, Brian Brzee misses a sack. Okay, and by him missing the sack, then all of a sudden, Sam Darnold hits JSN, beat Alontae Taylor, plus 29-yard gain. Then now they got a 3rd and 8. Oh, that's very favorable. 3rd and long. That's what you want. You should be able to get off the field. And, maybe you give up a field goal, but you don't know momentum. You're down maybe 3-0. Well, Stallberg comes there and blocks Darnold's pass. Then way after the whistle, because Brian Brezee's getting his ass kicked, personal foul, he goes in headbutt the guy that was whipping him. So what happens right after that? Darnold to JSN plus 12-yard touchdown. So now they go 6 plays, 55 yards. They're up 7-0. And then that's when it started going downhill. I don't know. We tried the tush push. I mean, are we like the Eagles? I don't know. But then they called the illegal procedure. We went for it on 4th and 1. Then we had to punt. Oh, punt? Yeah. Then we used to have I know in history, when we had Chris Banjo, J.T. Gray, our special teams are always in the top 5, if not the top 3. Our coverage units, not just Rashid and all returning punts to the house. We've always had good punt returns. But I'm talking about our coverage units. We give up a 95-yard punt return. 95-yard punt return. We have not given up that kind of play since 2017, I think the last time against the Lions. Giving up a punt return for a touchdown. But that 95-yard punt return was the longest in Seahawks history. It seems like we make a lot of negative history. So now we're down 14-0. Velus Jones Jr., I mean, you're down there, break down, make the tackle. He looked like he had never really covered punts, whatever. So then you just go on with the penalties, and then it's snowballing, and then all of a sudden they block a punt. Bell blocks the punt. And we have a left-footed punter, and nobody's blocking the guy off that edge, and that was the easy block. And now they got the ball on the 11-yard line. So Darnold hits Cooper Kupp +8, then Walker, touchdown. So now it's 21-0. I said this, I don't know if I've ever witnessed, maybe some Saints fans as of late. So you got to really go, I guess, the past 2 decades, post-Katrina, around there. I don't know if we've ever been this bad as far as covering kicks. I don't think we've been this bad. Horton had that one long gain, 95-yard punt return for touchdown, but they averaged 38 yards of punt return. Then had a kickoff return, Young, for 60 yards. I don't think we've ever been that bad. Maybe when someone could correct me, I know, let's say post-Katrina, that we've never been that inefficient in that phase of the game as far as, covering kicks. And then you have, Blake Grupe. I mean, so where is Blake Grupe at right now? I don't know. He was unbelievable in training camp, and now he's 4 of 7 for the season. I mean, it's really
you said, Bobby.
No, I said, yeah, he's going to score a lot of fantasy points and all, and use him. Same thing, Juwan Johnson is going to be targeted. You look at Juwan Johnson, he got targeted 6 times, had 8 catches, 51 yards, a long gain of 21. Now, we would need Chris Olave to be like JSN. He had 6 targets, 5 catches, 96 yards, 19-yard average. He had an opportunity. Where I had this. He had an opportunity. This is JSN. This is the real Ohio State receiver. Ohio State. This is the real Ohio State receiver. He could have became today, but he didn't. And he'd have been in this fraternity. Along with Antonio Brown. Now, he's crazy, but he made plays. And Julio Jones with 8+ catches. He was right on the cusp of that. He had 5. But you look at the yardage with plus 100 yards receiving in each of his team's first 3 games of the season. That's the number 1 receiver. Well, he ended up with 96 yards total. Now, looking at how did we get here, same song and dance. Are we the most undisciplined team right now in the NFL? I would say yes. Oh, we got a new coach. Well, so what? So what if you had a new coach? It's still, you could have the false starts, whatever, judgment calls, but then you can't have stupid penalties. We're a stupid team. But we are undisciplined. I mean, now we got 31 penalties in 3 games. That's horrible. And I kind of said this before the game. I thought this might have been a misprint, but it wasn't. We had that terrible first game in penalties. Well, we had 20 penalties coming into the game, and the Seahawks had 6. Well, the Seahawks, they can afford, they had 8. But we had 11 penalties for 77 yards. Remember I tell you, 9 penalties or more, or if you have 100 yards in penalties, that's like giving up a touchdown. Well, that wouldn't even, that didn't matter this game, but it just shows you it's not winning football. I'm not saying we're the worst team right now, but we're in the bottom 4. I don't know, they have a handful of bad teams.
Carolina's no longer in the mix.
No, see, you never know. It's the NFL. That's what I'm saying. Atlanta has a big game, but they put it to the Vikings. Then they got embarrassed. They didn't even score against Carolina. So you never know. Why not? We have that kind of game. I don't think it's happened in Buffalo. Maybe when New York comes to town, but who knows? But this is still the same song and dance. We cannot convert on 3rd down. We cannot convert on 3rd down in training camp. We cannot convert every time I watch them practice. We're a 30-some% conversion rate. You're not going to win anything. We're a 5 of 15, 33%. Still the same song and dance. You're not getting nothing done. Now, this is how it needs to be defensively because we weren't good. We're giving up around 50% 3rd down conversions. Today, we only gave up 33%. But guess what? Seattle's making such chunk plays, they didn't even have to worry about 3rd down because they were only 3 of 9, 33%. But that's winning football. Again, take 1 step forward, 2 steps back. What are we doing in the red zone? Okay, not good. we were 1 of 3 in the red zone. You got to get touchdowns. And this is definitely not good. Bend but don't break, force field goals, don't give up touchdowns. They were 4 or 5, 80%. So you look at that third down, red zone, you're not going to win anything. Now, you might say, well, Bob, we did good against the run, but it didn't matter. Because you look at the game, there's no meaning to it. We gave up 2.6 yards a rush. Yeah, if we do that in a game that went down to the wire, then that's meaningful, but not good for us. We only averaged 2.9. Now, we had 27 attempts, but then we're having to play catch-up. Net punting average, what is this, high school? 21.5 net punting average. Well, you could say, oh, you outkick your coverage or whatever. Or who's your gunners? You got to get down there. So there's a lot of people that are going to have to look in the mirror and say, well, what am I doing on special teams and my contribution? Like you said earlier, turnover margin. I don't know. We're not that good. We got to be +1. So if we throw the interception or we fumble, we got to get 2 back. So we were 0 for a game, turnover margin. Now we're still 0 for the season. Again, we're not good enough when that occurs. Now, if you look at, grouping, it's going to come a time where he's got to make a game-winning kick, and hopefully he can come through because that could be the difference of winning and losing. Now, it was so bad the game, we don't even know what highlights to share with the folks because usually it's a touchdown, whatever, but I said, no, this is outstanding. Because I still think he's a
shout out to Shaheed,
a Pro Bowl, Rashid Shaheed, a Pro Bowl returner. But damn it, they didn't punt till the fourth quarter. That was their first punt, and Rashid Shaheed ran it back for 40 yards. He had 1 fair catch at 1 40-yard punt return. But we didn't even think about that highlights because you're getting whacks.
Right.
But that's actually a big time play, Bob. You can do that on punt returns. Okay, so what did we do defensively? I don't know. Pete Werner led the team. He had 13 total tackles, 7 unassisted. Demario Davis ended up with 11. He had a tackle for loss. Nathan Shepard, I thought at times was playing hard. He was in there. He had 5 total tackles, 1 tackle for loss. Cam Jordan breaking Drew Brees' record now for the most by a Saint ever. He ended up with 4 tackles. He had a tackle for loss. Brian Brzee needs to look in the mirror. Aren't you a first-round draft pick? Aren't you supposed to have more discipline than that? It was promising. Quentin Riley, he got an opportunity to play. He forced a fumble. Pete Werner ended up recovering that. But it was nothing to write home about. It was really depressing. Steve,
it was depressing.
You know how I try and pay attention to detail and take notes? What's pretty bad when I'm so mad right now, I'm not even taking no damn notes in the second half. I'm just going to observe what I see. Because, you want to, and then you take a note now and then, but you're not trying to pay attention to detail.
You had seen enough.
Yeah, I've seen enough. You're so frustrated where the team is at. And it's in all areas. The same thing. It's the same damn thing when you look at football, third down. We got to be efficient on third down, and we got to stop opponents on third down. Are we setting the tone? No, are we not? We're just going along with the flow. And now I thought this might have happened, to tell you the truth, this kind of game, how we got waxed. I thought this might happen in Buffalo. I'm not saying I thought we would beat the Seahawks. The point spread was 7.5-point underdog. I thought maybe we can have a Cardinals or 49ers kind of game. We're so close. We played hard, but we didn't. But we covered. We covered and all that. And I didn't put no money on the game, so it's not like, oh, Bobby, you'd have been happy with the Saints' loss even though they covered. No, I just thought it was going to be that type. It's not a moral victory because there's no moral victories in the NFL. It's not PE class.
You could have laid 30 today, Bobby.
Yeah, you could have laid 30. If anybody in the Houdat Nation, anywhere around the country, people who look at point spreads and all, last night you'd have said, I give you the Saints in 30 points. You still would have lost.
Take my money, right.
This is the NFL. No, this was embarrassing. It was humiliating. And we're watching the game. Were we even at a football game? It sounded like there wasn't even a crowd there. It was like a joint practice. Was anybody even at the game? No, and that's a loud stadium. And they didn't have nothing to be loud about because it was like, we crush it.
They were enjoying their concessions.
Yeah, they're going, hang out, maybe having a conversation. The game's over. Let me go tailgate in the parking lot or whatever. But no, this is gut-checking time for the Saints. I know it doesn't mean anything, but you're constantly being evaluated. If you want this to be a lifestyle and to be a pro, you got to either do it the Saints way or Kellen Moore's way, or they're going to go in a different direction. And it's going to be a big challenge come Buffalo. And, the Bills are going to be well rested. They had a mini bye, so they're going to be fresh. And, when you got a team that you don't think is very good, you know what you do to them at the beginning? You don't let them think like they can hang. You try and discourage them.
Put them away early, right?
Like the Seahawks did. And I'd said, usually, I remember playing Seattle in the Kingdome. We beat them in the Kingdome. The crowd was loud at the beginning. Man, we better, even warming up. I said, we better come out the gate smoking and get an early lead so we don't give them nothing to cheer about. So you can set the tone. That's what we have not done. Aren't we always playing catch up? And we had an opportunity at the beginning. I think we coming up good, but not making the plays we need to take a lead. Again, just very frustrating. And you can't sugarcoat any of this. No, the Saints suck right now. They are bad. The Saints are bad. Now, what does that mean, bad? I mean, bad is not necessarily like going 0-17. Bad is when
you're beating yourself a lot.
And you maybe win a couple of games, 2 or 3. But remember I said it, after watching the offensive line play and training camp and all that, I thought, I don't know, best case scenario, they might win 5 games. Now,
it keeps going down.
I don't know. And you can't get discouraged. With the Bills, come on. You want to shock the nation, but it is the NFL. The Saints beat the Bills in Buffalo. Yeah, right. But no, it's the NFL. But when the Giants come to town, I can tell you this right now. You let the Saints get waxed by the Bills. And when they come home to the Giants, they better be playing hard. Because as soon as something goes wrong, I've been there. I've been around those situations. The boo birds are going to come out.
Right, it could get ugly.
They're going to come out, and God forbid you don't want this. But, people could do what they want to do. It's America. I still think you could do what you want to do in America, even though you might not think so this day and age. But
Some places.
Yeah, no. And I thought, no, we should never do this. I'm talking about wearing bags. You should never wear bags on your head because once you win a Super Bowl, we have been a champion. We're not the Lions. When you look at the Lions and then you look at the Browns. Look, who would have thought the Browns, look at that game, how they beat the Packers today. And I said, how Jordan Love goes, what was that score, like 13-10?
Right.
Well, those are the kind of games we got to win. That's why our defense has to kick ass and be opportunistic. I don't know, Steve, look at that turnover margin, Browns and Packers. What ended up happening there? I would say the Browns winning that game, they had to be on the plus side to beat Green Bay. But right now, we had to turn it around if you want the home folks, because we respect effort and hard-fought battles.
Turnover margin was even, 1-1.
1-1, oh. So the Browns got a good defense, and they're hanging with the old man Flacco. But when I look at the Saints right now, and I think the Saints fans.
And Green Bay dominated time of possession. It's wild.
Yeah. But then Jordan Love throw a pick or something.
Late in the game, right?
Yeah, late in the game. Yeah, turnovers, whatever. But the point being, we respect effort and hard-fought games, but it looked like a lack of discipline. And I'm not saying the team gave up because we came back second half, but we were like shell-shocked.
Yeah.
And you have one of those stinkers at home, we better not. That the fans will let you know about it.